Govan made a big mistake. He spoke too quick. Govan was the main one who got locked up right before Big Jug, and then next thing you know, Big Jug been locked up for a little while. Now he out.
What you think gonna happen? People gonna realize, sit right there and forget about Dolph. I'll be damned if I let anybody forget about Young Dolph. He put so many people on, and people start hating on that man since the beginning. And I want everybody to really pay attention to what's going on, because I'm not finna let nobody run down on my crib. I ain't finna let nobody run in my house. At the end of the day, I got something for any one of y'all who pull up on me. And I'ma sit right here on this porch, pull to this house. Pull to this house, and you gonna see, you gonna get what you asking for. Pull to this house, and I'ma keep pointing at the car. Pull to this house. It is what it is. I don't care what nobody say. I'm riding for Dolph to the end. Half of these niggas out here making these blogs, trying to get these dollars, man.
Miss Mia J. So check this out, man. Word is, Mia J, she finally got Young Dolph jewelry from the Scorpion unit. And not just the jewelry that the Scorpion unit had took when Young Dolph got sent up at Makita's. See, if y'all not familiar with the story, I want to say about 4 or 5 years back, somewhere in between 2018 and 2019. Yeah, around the same time that somebody got up in Young Dolph camel car and took his blue jewelry and a whole bunch of cash. See, at first, Young Dolph, he thought it was some regular jack boys. And then come to find out, it was actually the guys that was on the Scorpion unit. Yeah, man, the same ones that's related to Yo Gotti and his brother Big Jug. Man, the more I read up on the Scorpion unit, the more I try to understand how did they continue to get away with this. And I'm not just talking about them antagonizing Young Dolph even before he got sent up at the cookie shop. Man, while y'all at it, why don't y'all show y'all love and drop those dolls in the comments for Paper Route Frank. Matter of fact, let's pay our respects and say rest in peace to Young Dolph, condolences to his family, and much love to all my folks in Dolph land. See, if y'all don't understand, there's been a bunch of other people to step forward and speak on how the Scorpion unit been treating them. See, once the T. Nichols case came out and it was documented that the Scorpion unit was behind it, most folks in Memphis already knew the history of the Scorpion unit. To me, it's just messed up that all these black men got together just to orchestrate a plan and take out Paper Route Frank. You mean to tell me they couldn't get together for the benefit of Memphis? How much planning went into taking out Young Dolph? It's the same amount of planning that you need to get your community together. But that's not the way they wanted to go. And the reason why is because Young Dolph, he was too much competition. See, at first, Yo Gotti and his brother Big Jug, they always thought that Young Dolph would just stay a regular artist. They never knew that Young Dolph really had the business mentality to run his own label. And that's what he ended up doing. But again, Yo Gotti and Big Jug, they never seen that coming. But Young Dolph, he ended up proving them wrong by staying consistent with his grind. And that's the same thing that Young Dolph had taught the different Paper Route artists. You gotta stay consistent. You gotta stay consistent in order for your fans to take you seriously. And we can all see that Key Glock, he listened to everything that Young Dolph had taught him. And not only did he do it, Young Dolph, he was almost reaching the level of somebody like Master P. And that's actually who Young Dolph said that he looked up to. Because Young Dolph said he respected how Master P came in the game with an independent mind frame. And that's the same mentality that Young Dolph had. So when Yo Gotti asked him to be a part of CMG or to collab PRE and CMG together, Young Dolph said, nah, man, you do your thing and I'ma do my thing. Like, we could still respect one another and give each other space based on signing artists out of Memphis. But at the same time, I got other goals in mind. Plus, Young Dolph, he was already familiar with how Yo Gotti was doing his artists. So from a hands-on perspective, Young Dolph already knew that'd be a bad idea. Because at first, Yo Gotti, he was just using most of his artists to get on top. Meaning, he was using the songs that his artists would write, and he would put them out as he did it himself. So his artists never got the credit that they fully deserved by not letting them put out the music that they created. And again, Yo Gotti, he had been doing that for years straight. And one of the people that he was doing that to was somebody from Memphis, who Miss Snooty Wild. Come on, man, Snooty Wild. He was by Yo Gotti's side for some years. But again, Snooty Wild, he never really got that respect from Yo Gotti or the industry. So for those who didn't know, Snooty Wow, he got sent up last year in Houston, right before Lotta Cash Desto, the daughter of Govin, the one who said he orchestrated the whole Young Dolph setup. Matter of fact, while we at it, let's go ahead and say rest in peace to Snooty Wow and condolences to his family. Same thing for Govin's daughter. She didn't deserve to get set up in Houston. So we want to say rest in peace to Lotta Cash Desto and condolences to her family. But it's just messed up that the actions from her pops is the reason why she got set up. And that's part of the reason why Govin is taking a rap for Big Juk, dealing with this whole Young Dolph setup. But again, the folks in Memphis know that Govin, he orchestrated by getting the guys together who had something to do with taking out Young Dolph. But at the same time, we all know that Govin, he ain't got the cash like Big Juk to pay for this whole ordeal. But we gonna see what comes out after Big Juk affiliate Govin got caught with that cell phone behind the wall. So y'all just pay close attention to when the next court date come up, based around Straight Drop, Cornelius Smith, Govin, and Straight Drop relative, whom is Jamarcus Johnson, and the guys on the Scorpion unit. A lot of folks feel like they got a lot to say, so they gonna start talking. So like I was stating, man, it was a whole bunch of jealousy that came out of Heavy Camp and CMG, all based on they never thought that Young Dolph would rise to that occasion. At first, they tried to ignore it, but the more they ignored it, Young Dolph, he would continue to grow. And not only himself, he would grow to the point of signing a bunch of artists to be a part of Paper Route. And a bunch of the artists that Young Dolph had signed, they was young. And that was the mentality of Young Dolph, was to look out for the younger generation, by giving them a chance to make money to support themselves and their family. And that's the reason why Young Dolph had a lot of respect in Memphis. Once they heard how Young Dolph got sent up, it shocked everybody in Memphis. You even had some folks' grandmas who was tripping behind Young Dolph getting sent up, because that's how much Young Dolph looked out for his community of Castay, or better yet, most of the families that's from South Memphis. Now the folks can see the Scorpion unit, they ain't just take Young Dolph jewelry, they also had something to do with deleting that parking lot footage. Yeah, so they end up grabbing Young Dolph blue jewelry with the Smurf with the 6-point star on it and the 6-point star ring by itself. Because y'all gotta understand, most of Yo Gotti family, they VL. They ride under the 5. So that's another reason why they end up taking Young Dolph blue jewelry. Basically based on greed, jealousy, and hate. And this the thing, if Young Dolph had never became successful, they would have never cared about it. Meaning, they would have never paid off a bunch of guys to take out Paper Route Frank. I'm trying to tell y'all, it's mostly all due to Young Dolph being competition for Yo Gotti. And I think that Yo Gotti didn't like the competition of Young Dolph, knowing he had been #1 in Memphis for years. Because Young Dolph, he didn't only have love in the streets, he also had love in the industry, from the same ones who wasn't feeling Yo Gotti. And I don't have to put no names out there, you already know who I'm talking about. One of those guys, he had no problem looking out for Young Dolph. And that's your boy Gucci Man, Mr. 1017 So Icy. That parking lot of Makita's, where they set up Young Dolph at, it got cameras everywhere. So that should let y'all know they already had this plan in advance, how they would take out Paper Route Frank. Like I said, man, it's a sad situation. I know you got some folks out there saying, well, Young Dolph, he put this on himself by even going at Yo Gotti and his brother Big Juk. See, at the same time, y'all gotta understand where Young Dolph was coming from. He was just playing it as regular competition. He never thought that it would get to the point where they would want to set him up. Because Young Dolph, he been knowing Yo Gotti and Big Juk since he was around 15, 16 years old. Maybe even a couple years before that. So from a Young Dolph perspective, again, he's just seeing it as regular competition. He never knew that Yo Gotti or his brother Big Juk would get all up in their feelings. But I think they got more in their feelings based around what Young Dolph had turned into. See, what I'm saying is, they never thought that Young Dolph would have the mindset to become the mogul that he became. See, they thought that Young Dolph was gonna be one for in, one for out. They didn't know that he was actually gonna come in the rap game and become an independent mogul. While Yo Gotti, he's mostly an industry mogul. So their grind gonna be a little different, even though they both may be chasing the same goal. Now don't get me wrong, Yo Gotti, he had to work to get where he at as well. But what I'm saying is, Yo Gotti, he had more help from the industry than Young Dolph. See, at first, a lot of people didn't even respect Young Dolph. So Young Dolph, he had to continue to put out good music so he can gain some loyal fans and the people can finally respect it. See, I know it's a bunch of folks in Dolph land, they ain't been feeling right ever since Young Dolph got sent up. Because Young Dolph, he was that guy. He looked out for the whole community. And everybody in Cat State, they knew that. That's the reason why they respected him. That's the reason why, once they heard that Young Dolph got sent up, the whole Cat State flee to Makeda's. Because they wanted to see, was it really real? I just want to say, I'm happy that Mia J got Young Dolph Blue Jury back. And like I stated, one of the guys who had no problem with aid and assisting Young Dolph was Gucci Mane. You can also throw CEO Pia and Pee Wee Longway in there as well. Oh yeah, can't forget about your boy T.I. All four of these cats, they got prolific names in the ATL. So again, at the same time, they had no problem giving Young Dolph information about how to move in the rap game. And y'all seen for yourselves that Young Dolph, he took everything they said wholeheartedly. That's the reason why Young Dolph was in the position that he was in. Because he didn't mind listening. He didn't mind receiving information that he knew would benefit him. It didn't matter how many times Gucci Mane had critiqued his career. Young Dolph stated himself that only made him better. Plus Gucci Mane, T.I., and Pee Wee Longway even gave Young Dolph his first features for free. And the reason why they did it, because they seen the type of work ethic that Young Dolph had. They seen how Young Dolph was investing in himself. So seeing that, those same guys didn't have a problem looking out for Young Dolph. So going back to the reason of this video, see Gucci Mane, he seen an opportunity and he hopped on it. He understood that most of the guys out of Memphis, they go to the ATL to record. That's where Young Dolph and Yo Gotti was mostly going to record their music. So if you got those two guys going to the ATL to record, where you think they artists gonna go? They gonna go to the same spot. So like I stated, Gucci Mane, he seen an opportunity and jumped right on it. And that's the mentality that a lot of folks respect from Gucci Mane. And not just that, it shows how loyal Gucci Mane was towards Young Dolph. That even when Young Dolph got sent up, Gucci Mane, he was still making songs and going on tours with the different paper route artists. So when I make a video saying that Gucci Mane had shares in Young Dolph paper route, that's not going against Gucci Mane and Young Dolph friendship. That's speaking on the business mentality that Gucci Mane and Young Dolph had. That Gucci Mane, he seen Young Dolph paper route as a real business. And that's what he treated it as. Because it's not only paper route empire, it's paper route enterprise. Like I was trying to tell y'all before. Because you got two sides. You got paper route empire, and that's dealing with the artist. And then you got paper route enterprise. That's dealing with the business side. The side that handles Young Dolph's real estate properties. And actually, those are the same properties that Young Dolph was passing off to his seeds. And y'all can tell Young Dolph, he was a family first type of dude. Meaning that everything he had built pertaining to the paper route is based on setting his seeds up to inherit a legacy. And that's something that people got to pay attention to. And that's, you got to work to put yourself in a position to where you could take care of yourself and your family financially. And Young Dolph, he didn't only do that for himself, but he also did that for a bunch of young cats that's out of Memphis. But people only pay attention to the jewelry, the houses, or the nice cars. They don't have their mentality set on grind mode. They don't really see the sweat and the tears and being up all night that places a person in that position to where they could always collect the bag. And always understand, even with the proper planning, that none of this comes easy. You got folks out there that want it more than you do. That's the reason why you gotta grind to get it. So again, man, let's show our love and respect to Gucci Mane for looking out for these young artists. For him and his wife creating an environment where these young artists could go to and record. And that's the type of moves that we want to see the older guys make for the younger cats. But also, young black men, they need to be detoured so they don't only go down a route of rapping. There's different legitimate paths we can go that could benefit ourselves and our communities. Always be aware and always stay prepared. But I don't think that's true. I believe that Gucci Mane sees the bigger picture here. And that's, if he could get these artists out of Memphis to work together, it wouldn't only benefit him, PRE or CMG, but it will also benefit those that come from Memphis. And again, I respect Gucci Mane's business mentality, because even Gucci Mane understands that a lot of these guys that come from Memphis, they don't want to choose sides. They don't want to choose between going to PRE or CMG. So dealing with that, that's the reason why they end up going to QC over there with CEO Pierre and Coach K, or they end up signing up with Gucci Mane 1017. And y'all can see for the past couple years, that's where mainly QC and Gucci Mane been going to, is to Memphis. They even recognize the undiscovered talent that comes out of Memphis. It's a market that all the top CEOs trying to tap into. That's the reason why even Jay-Z is trying to get into the Memphis market through your boy Yo Gotti. Because even Jay-Z could now recognize that he wasn't even paying attention to all the talent that lies in Memphis. So why not harness that, where you know you can create an environment for these young artists to come and record? I mean, let's keep it 100. A lot of folks out of Memphis, they wanted CMG and PRE to do something like this. They always wanted the PRE and CMG artists to one day work together. But because of the long drawn out beef between Young Dolph and Yo Gotti, it never really played out that way. Until Gucci Mane started signing artists out of Memphis. That's when the folks was able to see the CMG artists, they can work with the PRE artists. The middle ground is Gucci Mane 1017. See, Gucci Mane is like the mediator between CMG and PRE. Because again, Gucci Mane understands that there's no recording studio where the CMG artist and the PRE artist can go to all at the same time and record without somebody trying to start something or even up a burner. So he say, alright, whenever y'all in the ATL, y'all come on down to the 1017 studio and we gonna look out for you. We gonna make sure that nobody have no type of beef. Matter of fact, don't even come here with that. When you come to this studio, you better have it in mind that you come to do some music so you can make some money. And hopefully you can tour with Gucci Mane. Cause y'all already see that Gucci Mane, he's touring with the different PRE artists. So that lets y'all know right there that Gucci Mane, he really don't have a problem with opening up his doors to the young guys that he know want to make some type of money. Legitimately. Not on no bogus activity. And like I stated from the beginning, man, I respect that business mentality that Gucci Mane have. And a lot of folks gotta understand that Gucci Mane, he had history with Young Dolph. And we already know that Gucci Mane, he was once cool with Yo Gotti. Until Gucci Mane felt like Yo Gotti did some underhanded activity. But then we already know the tight relationship that Gucci Mane had with Young Dolph. But Gucci Mane, he was the one that looked out for Young Dolph when Young Dolph first came in the rap game. It wasn't too many people out of Memphis that wanted to mess with Young Dolph once they heard that Young Dolph had stopped messing with Yo Gotti. See, plus Yo Gotti had told them cats not to mess with Young Dolph because he wasn't nobody to work with. So Young Dolph, he had to go to the ATL to put